Hello, my name's Andrew, and I'm going to be talking about DevOps tools. So what I've pulled up today is the periodic table of DevOps tools. There's quite a few on here. I'm not going to say I'm familiar with absolutely every one of them, but I know what quite a few of these do. So I'm just going to kind of go from left down and around and kind of come back around to these at the bottom. So first at the start, we have these Atlassian, Jira, and a lot of these other ones that matches this color here of Enterprise Agile Planning Tools. So this is really getting your work into the backlogs for development teams to do. I have never used any of these specifically, but I can imagine what they're used for. The AI Ops analytics stuff here with Datadog, Splunk, kind of all these ones. What these are is really for reading your logs, outputting a massive amount of data to these things, and using those analytics to see trends, see different charts, track things. You could use it to track how many errors happen if your logs are done right, or just dig through logs really quickly to find how many times this one error keeps happening. They're pretty cool tools. They do some graphing things. I'm pretty sure all of them work pretty similarly. In this blue color, we've got artifact package management, NPM, Yarn, NuGet. Those are all basic ones. Docker Hub, Sonatype Nexus, and JFrog Artifactory are kind of different from these other ones because these ones host like NPM and NuGet, so you can hold multiple different types in here. You can also hold Docker in those as well, so those are kind of cool. We got cloud here. AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, OpenStack, and IBM Cloud are more like you host your own, I think. But these are the big three up here: AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud. Going on to collaboration, we've got Slack, Microsoft Teams, Confluence, Stack Overflow, and Mattermost. So this one's actually, I believe, a open source Slack alternative. Teams, Slack, and Zoom, which isn't on here, really kind of fight in the same space of like video conferencing and chat tools. And then Atlassian Confluence is a little bit different because that's more of like a host for holding websites and sharing documents. I don't think it has some of the same stuff. Maybe it's a little bit like Stack Overflow where you can keep some documentation or question and answer stuff, but really I think this one's a little bit different. The next one we've got here, this continuous automation. So we have Ansible, Terraform, Chef, Puppet, Salt. So really Ansible, Chef, Puppet, Salt are all competitors. They're all there to do configuration management. As far as configuration automation, Terraform, Azure CloudFormation, and then I think Vagrant and Packer. I think these are a lot better at spinning up servers and managing servers, keeping an internal cloud of VMs or something running. I know Terraform can spin up a server, but it's a lot easier to do that in like a tool like Terraform. So if you have something that gets your VM ready and then you load your software on it with one of these tools, it makes your life a lot easier. So even though there's all these tools on here, they're not mutually exclusive in any category too. They can definitely work together, especially over here where you get into containers. Just because you make a Docker container doesn't mean you can't run that in Kubernetes. Doesn't mean you can't run that in anything. Docker's just kind of a standard at this point. There's Docker Enterprise, Rancher. Rancher and Helm kind of do some more orchestration stuff that Kubernetes can do. There's always more tools in this category. This next one, this orange color, that's database management. Really what these tools are, like Liquidbase, Delphix, these are trying to make your life easier when you're managing databases. So if you go to Database Maestro's website and look at it, what that's actually trying to do is versioning your schemas for databases so you can get your databases under control. It's usually pretty difficult to manage your database scripts, and these tools are there to make it easier. I haven't actually used any of them as I don't do most database things, but from what I've seen of them, they do look very handy. These ones, Azure DevOps pipelines. This purple color here says I believe this one's the continuous integration one, or it's the source control management. I'm not really sure because Azure DevOps covers so many different pieces. But it looks like these are really deployment tools. If I look at Harness, Octopus Deploy, Spinnaker is really for multiple clouds, usually into Kubernetes. I'm sure all of these are multi-cloud deploy tools. Octopus deploys to everything. It's another good one for .NET as well. And Azure, of course, is going to be good with .NET. It also works with other tools, but I think Octopus and Azure do a great job with .NET, and then they also can do other things like Java and that kind of stuff too. If we look at the blue category here for security, you got OWASP Zap. I'm not 100% familiar with many of these. I know what CyberArk is. It's a little bit different. Vault is more like a secret manager. SonarQube is static code analysis, which really covers lots of different tools. It's got lots of plugins. It's pretty cool. Black Duck does security on containers. I'm not familiar with Snort. Burp is kind of like a tool for like kind of probing, I believe. It's kind of the same thing you can do with some other tools where you can grab a request and play it back and do some other things. I'm not sure if this port swinger suit is a different type of security tool, but usually I see the burp tool in security things. I think Zap is like another static code analysis for security as well. In this green color, I'm trying to find, they have these as cloud, it looks like cloud deployment tools. These are probably like doing releases in the cloud. It's right here, release management. I don't really have too much space, or I've never really used any of these tools, but maybe they're really cool for release management. These are the serverless POS ones, so I am familiar with most of these. Azure Functions, Lambda are your functions. Heroku, Firebase, and Cloud Foundry are more like you put your app into a container, and in the case of Cloud Foundry, I think even most of the time it's a proprietary container. Google Firebase, you can just upload an app, and when you use their CLI, it takes care of all the container for you. The same is true with Cloud Foundry. I think Heroku is the same, but I've only read their documents and like their 11 cloud steps or whatever those are. But these are really all similar. But these two functions ones, it's kind of the same. Running a function is kind of like putting your stuff in a container. These ones in red, you're really just saying, I don't want to know anything about how the code is run. I want to pay someone else to manage it, and it can definitely get expensive if you don't watch what you're doing there with those. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying you might want to watch your cost on those. Source control management, we've got, of course, Git, GitHub. All these ones are probably using Git here with Bitbucket. Subversion's a little bit different. This one's kind of interesting. I had to look this one up. This one's more like host control, I believe. So maybe if you're doing like COBOL or something like that, it's interesting because it says it's your host programs. So I don't know. I'd look into that one if you're using kind of more of a legacy language. But Bitbucket, GitLab, GitHub, Git, they're all really cool tools. They all kind of bleed over into some of these other categories too, with GitHub having actions and GitLab also having some CI/CD stuff. Atlassian has Bitbucket, which I think we're going to get to soon. Or sorry, not Bitbucket. Bitbucket's this tool. Bamboo. Down here. So these are the tools most people probably think about when they think DevOps with continuous integration tools. These are the ones that trigger different jobs that kind of tie into your source control. Oh, they have other triggers too, but Jenkins, everyone knows what Jenkins is. It's the open source CI tool of choice for most people. Azure DevOps Code, that's what TFS got rebranded to Azure DevOps. It does source control management. It can trigger builds. It can trigger builds for Java, mobile apps, but especially .NET. GitLab CI, they look really cool. I haven't had the pleasure of working with them yet, but I've read a lot of their articles and documents, and they seem really cool. Travis CI, again, I see nothing but great things about these. Unfortunately, they don't do .NET, so I haven't touched it. Circle CI is another one where I heard great things. Again, they don't do .NET, so I haven't really touched it. If they do .NET, let me know, comment. I'd love to try those tools out. Maven and Gradle I've used a little bit in Java. I think they're more build tools, but if they can be used as continuous integration, that's cool. I think Gradle's used by default by Android projects. Maven is a huge thing in Java. Elastic Bamboo has a lot of cool features, but it's smaller and it's got a lot really tied to Bitbucket. But they do have a lot of cool integration features in there that I think are unique. I haven't seen as many of those fall into some of these other tools like GitLab and Azure DevOps, but it's also smaller, so maybe they get it away with more. I don't know. And then AWS Code Build, I'm not really familiar with that one, but Amazon probably knows what they're doing. Issue tracking, got Atlassian and Jira. This one can really be about anything. Jira can be backlogs, it can be boards, it can be workflow management. Jira really does a lot, and it's got tons of plugins. I'm not familiar with this Helix. Trello, it's popular as a workboard. ServiceNow is a ticket management system. I think a lot of these are ticket management and like what support needs to be doing. So I'm guessing Helix does the same thing. If we look here at this teal one, these are testing tools. So this is more of like a UI continuous testing tool. It's got a funky name. I really don't know how to say it. It's Tosca though. I've seen some demos of it. It looked really cool. It also looked super expensive, so I didn't look too far into it. But I know there's other people like really excited about this tool. Neolode I've never seen or heard of before this, but I'll probably go check it out soon. Selenium, everyone probably knows what Selenium is who does testing. This is a UI framework. It does front-end JavaScript testing. JUnit is unit testing for Java. Sauce Labs is kind of interesting. This is a browser that I believe works with Selenium, where you kick off your Selenium tests and you use a driver. I know I'm probably going really deep into this for some people. With Sauce Labs, you use a driver. You can use multiple browsers. I think Browser Stack's another one that people can use, where you tell it, hey, I want you guys to run my same website tests on Chrome, Mozilla, Internet Explorer. For some reason you can't get up IE7. You can just run it on all these super old legacy browsers, and it can just run your tests all the time on all these different browsers in one test go. And you don't have to keep those browsers up to date. You're paying them to do that for you, and it seems like a really nice service. I'm not sure what this one is, CompuWare Topaz, but I always like finding out more about these testing tools, so I'll probably have to look into that one too. Appium is really for driving mobile apps, I believe. I think it can do desktop apps as well. I have seen some desktop apps driven by Appium, but it's kind of like Selenium for apps that Selenium can't drive. Squash TM I'm not familiar with, but it definitely sounds like a unit testing tool. Cucumber, this is more BDD, which really there's not a super big difference. It's just the way you describe your tests is a little bit different, but it's a standard for that. JMeter, I'm not familiar with it, but it's probably a Java tool. Parasoft, again, not familiar with it, but that doesn't mean it's bad. So in the green here, we've got value stream management. So GitLab again shows up, Flutora, TaskTop, and Digital AI. So I'm not really sure what the value stream management does. If this is like looking at your overall, this is looking at your overall map from coming up here, working in like intake, going through builds, going through testing, going through source control management, like how long it takes to get through your process. Maybe they do something with that. I don't know. I've never used these specifically, but hopefully that gives you an idea of what's out there for DevOps tools. This periodic table gets updated a lot. This last time it was updated, I think, was in January of this year. But obviously there's lots of tools out here for collaboration containers if you need something. These are voted on by a community every year, so if you don't like the tools on this chart, go look at version 3 that's a year old, and you might find something on there you like too, because there's some other ones on there that aren't on here this year. So if you got to this part of the video, subscribe, like, and thanks for watching.